Get ready for the show, it's about to begin. Pro fan talk when we dive right in. Sports talk, hot takes, ain't nothing we lack. We the real fans, nothing holding us back. Mic check, 1, 2, y'all know the drill. We bringing the energy, we keep it real. Touchdowns on liquid air, on the slam dunks on the court. Every sport, every game, we holding down the fort. We breaking down the plays, dissecting the stats. Pro fan talk, we keeping it fat. Debating with passion, no filter, no doubt. We the voice of the fans, we scream and we shout.
What's going on, folks? Glad you could join me today. Just chilling on the Pro Fan Talk, man. Looking at some stuff. Honestly, I didn't plan on going live tonight. I'd already put out a whole bunch of content. But you know what? I was just chilling. I was like, man, we got a lot of stuff to run down, man. I ain't gonna be before you long. So we're gonna kick it for a minute. I already got some people in the chat, man. What's up, Carlos? First out the limo. Yeah, they can't do nothing about it, man. They can't do nothing about it. Can't do nothing about it. What's up, Delco? Intro music is fire. I appreciate that. Who is that? That is actually AI. I can't even cap and act like I'm a rapper or something. I used a it's a channel, a service. It's called Suno.ai. I'd heard about it on somebody else's channel. I think it was like Nikki and Moose. I heard they were talking about it, and I messed around with it. And it's funny. The first time I messed around with it, I put in a couple of prompts, and basically, I put in some stuff about my podcast. And I said, I want a classic hip hop beat, something like DJ Premier or something like that, because I'm old school. So I was like, I want a classic hip hop beat. And then I put in some keywords, and it kicked me out about 4 different things, and all of them were fire, but that was the one I settled on. I even played it for my wife, and my wife was like, yo, that's nice. So I kept it. And since then, I tried to do another one that talked about same things, but I tried to get it to talk about the Super Bowl victory and all that type of stuff, and I could not get the same results. So I just kept it as it was. You notice I changed the intro a little bit. I changed some of the images and my transitions. I got some Super Bowl pictures in there, a couple of quick clips from the games and stuff like that. And I'm going to change it again as soon as the WNBA starts back up. So you guys have seen some of the stuff I'm working on in the background with the new scoreboard and the stuff. I got the basketball court with my logo on it. So I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff in 3D for some new intros and some new graphics. So yeah, I'm working on some stuff, man. I'm working on some new stingers. Dude, I'm a geek, bro. I'm a tech geek, man. I've been into graphic designs. Dude, let me tell you how OJ I am with this stuff, man. I've been involved with graphic arts since I was a sophomore in high school. We had a graphic arts class in high school, and we had AB Dick presses, and we had to set type, and we had, mind you, I went to high school from 84 to 88. So we going way back. This was before Apple computers. This was before Windows 95. This was before DOS. You feel me? So, my first job was in high school. My graphic arts teacher, rest in peace, Mr. Davis, he hired the students, and we would work in the graphic arts department, and we would print up all of the stuff for the school over the summer. So that was my job. I made $3.25 an hour. And yeah, man, I used to do it old school, bro. AB Dick press. Used to have to put the ink on the wheel. Had one of them big old school presses where you had to ink up the wheel, pull the crank, the thing would turn, and the wheel would go around, and it would ink up the wheel, and the wheel would go over, come back down, print the stuff, and you got to take the paper out and replace it one hand at a time. So like I was old school, had to set type. If you had to write a paragraph of type, you had to set the type. We had we had like 8 huge cabinets, metal cabinets that were like they're basically like the drawers in your bedroom, except they were probably about 12 feet long. They had about 5 or 6 skinny drawers in it, and all of these drawers just had type, basically like whatever you would see at the end of a typewriter, like that. And we used to do it old school, man. But I've always been into that stuff, man. First Mac I ever used, this thing sat about 2 feet off of the desk, and the only thing it did was set type. It had all these different fonts and stuff like that. It had like 20 something fonts. And at that time in like 1980, 486 or whatever it was, that was like crazy. But it was almost like developing film. So I'm old school, bro. So and I said all that to say I used 3D Studio when it was still on DOS. Um, man, I used to when I was in college, I was the only one because I was a CAD CAM major, computer aided design and manufacturing, and 3D was part of our thing, but it was an option because it wasn't you couldn't do SketchUp and Twin Motion and all that kind of stuff. So I had to do it the hard way, but I was the only one in my class that wanted to mess around with 3D. So what I would do is I would go to the computer lab. We had to have about, I want to say we had to have about 24 to 30 computers in there. And I would load up and I created this animation in 3D Studio. It was basically like a mechanical football. It was very low res. Um, and I would use all of the computers to render out. It was like a render farm. You could set all of the computers to work on one system. So it was basically like a render farm. So I would go in there at night, and my professor would leave me the key. He trusted me because everybody knew me because I was a football player. So, and the hell, I was a football player that was going to class, so they really didn't want to mess nothing up. So he would leave me the key, and I would be in there from like 7 o'clock till like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And he would just tell me, just make sure you lock the door if you're the last one out the computer lab. So I would be the last one out the lab, last one out the building. And all I had to do was just make sure I locked the computer door. But I had all them computers to myself. So I would work on one. And at the end of the night, I would set them all up so it would render. And then I would back to the dorm, go to sleep. And I would wake up early in the morning and go back to the lab to make sure it worked right, because it would work all through the night. That's how slow the stuff was back in the day, man. So like I'm old school, bro. Heck, you ain't even got to go to tech school now, bro. Shoot, you could download Unreal Engine, get Twin Motion, you could download SketchUp, and you could take classes on YouTube. They'll teach you all you need to know. So, but there's still some things you gotta know to get to the next level, man. But that's why you see like all of these graphics and stuff like that. All of this stuff is 3D, Twin Motion, and all of that type of stuff that I'm into. I do all of this stuff, man. Like I say, man, I'm a geek. I'm a nerd, bro. I've been into this since I was a kid, bro. So, um, so yeah. So the AI and all of that type of stuff. That's you speaking my language. So, um, yeah, I'm a big old nerd, man. It is what it is. Um, but yeah, big news of the day was Zack Baun. You guys already know how I felt about that. That was the one thing we were missing. And again, how we got it done, man. What can I say, bro? What can I say, Pat? I use Blender. I'm using Blender right now. Matter of fact, uh, the 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 project I'm working on now, getting for my podcast and stuff, I'm using Blender. I just bought a plugin. I just bought um let me see. I bought procedural crowds, I bought procedural stadiums, I bought procedural traffic. I got a couple of those programs, those plugins. And basically I bought a program so I can use nodes to create a stadium. I didn't create a stadium. I got a basketball floor, and y'all saw some of the stuff I did with the huge scoreboard and all that type of stuff. So I'm working on that type of stuff. So basically, all that stuff you see in my background now with the people walking around, I'm trying to take that to the next level. So I got this new program new plugin where I can, make the people look a certain way. If I want to put them, if I want to put like Eagles logos and stuff like that, I can customize it a little bit more. So I'm trying to debate if I want to go that far with it because I like this because this is easy, it's simple, and it looks good. Just the people going in the background and something that can kind of like catch your eye and just don't lull you to sleep. So um, yeah, I'm doing more stuff. I'm doing more of that type of stuff, man. So it's fun. It's fun. But this is like I like this set when I got the big screen so I can see if I want to bring something up on my second screen. That's a live look at my other monitor over here. Um, so I can mess around with stuff like that. If I want to show the picture of me, Kelsey, and Brent Selleck, I can bring that up. So I'm trying to do another thing like that a little bit more. Eventually, I want to get to the point where I want to make it look like a virtual studio where I'm actually standing up and I'll have because this is not a big office, but I'll have a little bit more room where I could actually stand up and like maybe walk. I probably got about 5 feet of room where I could walk back and forth, but I just like the look of it. And I'm trying to do something somebody else. I'm trying to do something most people ain't doing because I got the talent to do it. Something that I can drive the podcast, and I'm still talking about sports. I just want the visual look to look like some of the stuff you see at NFL films, or because I'm 20 minutes away from NFL films. You know what I mean? So I get that type of inspiration all the time, man. So what's up, Cody K? So yeah, man. Yeah, I'm big on Blender. Big on Blender, big on Unreal Engine. I used to be better at Unreal Engine, but for my purposes, I'm not trying to produce a game or anything like that. Um, and Unreal Engine has a huge learning curve. So I like Twin Motion better because it suits what I'm trying to do, and I can make these backgrounds. It's not easy, but it's a hell of a lot easier than trying to come up with some of the stuff in Blender. I like I'm more comfortable with Blender, but because I'm using Twin Motion is real time. So I can create a set in Twin Motion, animate it, have people walking in the background, and I can put the camera on and look at it real time. I can't do that in Blender. Blender, you got to put something together, render it out, and wait for the render to be done. Now I've done that a couple of times, but Twin Motion is just a hell of a lot easier, man. And the results are smashing, man. The results are fire, bro. So all of the stuff I did, my jersey, I took a picture of jersey. That's my jersey. I just took those pictures, my pictures, put it on there, um, scanned my signature, put the wings on it. That's how I used to sign stuff. I used to put the wings on it. So like I created that. Um, the stuff up there in the TV, the small TV over the big TV. I can set that up so that's a video playing or anything like I did to that. And I'm getting more and more into OBS, the OBS stuff, because OBS is where you got the real, the real good stuff, man. And I'm getting to, you know, doing stuff like that, working on my little stingers and all of that, man. Yeah. So I was working on all that stuff, man. So, but I had to make a choice because I would spend so much time, I'd get lost in making that stuff. And then I don't have time to prepare all of the stuff. So I had to make a choice. So I'd let that kind of fall to the wayside. And then in this off season, I'm gonna have a lot more stuff like that, man. So I'm working, bro. I'm always working. My wife gets mad at me. She's like, "What are you doing on the computer? On the computer?" I'll be sitting in bed looking at my phone, she'll be like, "What are you looking at?" I'll be looking at the algorithm and the analytics of my YouTube channel, dude. Like my brain is always moving on this type of stuff because I'm into it. So I'm always trying to get better, man. Always trying to get better. So all right, let's jump into the stuff we was talking about. I get sidetracked, man. I got rabbit disease, or what they call it, squirrel disease. What was that movie where the little dog was like squirrel? Like I get when I like, dude, 3D animation, cartoons, or barbecue. If I go down any of those rabbit holes, I'm done. I'm done. Like 3D animation, um, cartoons or anime and barbecue, dude. I will go down that rabbit hole and I will not shut up, man. So sometimes I gotta stay on task, bro. Um, but appreciate the feedback, man. I'll tell anybody if you got feedback for me, some way I can make this presentation better, hit me up. I'm telling you, hit me up. Um, also, I was trying to get it on this other computer, and it's being a pain in the butt right now. But so I got a new goal in mind, and let me explain my logic. So what I'm doing is, so my goal is to get to 10,000 subscribers by July, by basically the end of July. I'm saying July. July is my birthday. July 12th is my birthday. Me and my twin sister. So that's the goal, to reach 10,000 subs by July. And I did. I went into my analytics. I calculated how many days. I did this last night. How many days until July, to the end of July? How many subscribers I got? How many do I need to get to reach 10,000? And I divided it by the number of days. So basically, what I need to do is I gotta get 22 subscribers. I get 23 subscribers per day. That's what I broke it down to. So I'm changing my mindset a little bit, right? So I'm changing the mindset like almost like a game. So when I go in, I'm the tailback. I gotta get, I gotta run the ball 22 times. I gotta get 22 rushing yards a game every day. Or if you put it like basically, it would probably be easier to look at it towards the end of the week because you're not going. 22 is at my level is it's attainable, but you got to work for it. But so at the end of the week, I'm looking, I should have anywhere between 150 and 200 subscribers per week. So I look at it like I play a football game every week, and I got to get at least 150 to 200 yards rushing every week. That's how I'm looking at it. And I got to do that every day until July. So spread the word, um, invite your friends. I'm trying to get this done. And yeah, that's the goal, man. That is the goal. It's that simple. And what is this? Oh, come on. Of course it's not gonna work right. All right. We'll live with it. I was trying to like one of the things I'm gonna start doing on that second screen, I'm gonna go into my analytics and put you got a live counter for the subscribers, but I'm not logged in to my YouTube channel here. So I was like, I'll do it later. I don't want to be putting my password in off on camera and stuff like that. So, all right, my bad. My bad. I told you I'll go into these rants, man. So let's get down. Let's get down to business. Hold up. So, um, Miles Garrett is next. I hope so. I hope so. I tried to tell y'all, man. Howie Roseman, he playing chess. He playing chess. The things that he's doing, and he does it every year, man. He does it every year. This was the guy. Miles Garrett is next, but this was the guy. We talked about this last time. Um, to me, this was priority number one, Zack Baun. He earned it. He was worth it, and how he got it done. So all of this, everything that he did with Saquon Barkley, um, dropping that cap hit from 13 million to like 6.8 or whatever it was. All of this is just making moves. I know he's not done. Um, we were talking about, is he going to stay at 32 during the draft? I don't know. Is he trying to compile draft picks to make trades and getting people together? It is my opinion that I don't think Bryce Huff is going Bryce Huff is going to be trade bait. So I think Howie's got the plan, man, and he's working his plan. That's what he's doing. So we just got to sit and wait. And there's going to be a lot of moving pieces the closer we get to the draft. So I definitely want to see that. And I want to see if we will. Are they going to draft a tight end? Are we going to try to get a veteran tight end? I know that dude from Cincinnati, Gesicki. Cincinnati let him go, and I would love to have him here as a backup to Dallas Goedert. Let Dallas Goedert play out his last year if he wants to, and then we'll have Goddard and Gesicki. Because don't forget, man, when we played Cincinnati, Gesicki was in our business. He was in our business, man. So we'll see how he wants to do with that. But I think that's a position of need. I think I like Calcaterra. I like Brent Stoll, but or Grant Stoll. I like both of them, but it was a noticeable fall off when Goddard wasn't playing. Maybe we just didn't use him enough. When Goddard was out, because sometimes you got to force the issue. Let me see what you're gonna do against this particular linebacker or something like that. So I just didn't see. I was always curious when we had Albert why we didn't use him, because that dude is athletic like crazy, can jump out the gym fast, and he every tight end we got right now is not the best blocker. Not the best blocker, far from it. So I don't know if they're going to try to get somebody. I saw what Jason Taylor's kid was doing. That dude is going to be a freak. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. So we'll see what they're going to do with Myles Garrett, man. A lot of moving pieces with that. It would be nice to get him and Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith on the same defensive line. That's a cheat code right there. Sean Kilrain. So any way you could hop on the podcast I do next Monday to chop up free agency and the draft. Sean, hit me up, man. Sure. I could do that. Just let me know, bro. Let me know. Hit me up. Hold on. Let me see. Hit me up. That's my my Twitter on the bottom. So hit me up on Twitter. Or you can email me, profantalk@gmail.com. You can email me, or the easiest thing to do would be to hit me up on Twitter. We can make something happen, dude. We can make something happen. I do have I got a verbal commitment for next week for Irvin Fryer. Used to play with the Eagles, used to play with the Redskins, used to play with the Patriots, used to play with the Dolphins. But I know Irvin very well. He's a friend of mine. Irvin is somebody that I can call a friend. We used to work at the same church together back when I used to be real heavy in our youth ministry, and Irvin was one of the assistant pastors, and we became friends there. Still friends to this day. Irvin, this is what I mean when I call somebody a friend. If I call his number, he will pick up or call me back. I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of ex-players, and I know them, but it's not somebody I would consider a friend. An acquaintance, yes. So, and I'm working on relationships. Like Jeremiah Trotter, I'm trying to get Jeremiah Trotter on the cast. Now, every time I see Trot out somewhere, hey, what's up? We might dap each other up if we had alumni events and stuff like that. We sat together at the 2017 parade. We sat together at this parade, took a couple pictures of him and his boy and all that type of stuff. So he knows who I am, obviously. So I've been trying to get him on the podcast. That's coming. I'm efforting. So, but Trot is not somebody, like if I called him, he would be like, who is this? Like Marcus. Like I'd have to send a picture. I would have to remind him because I'm not in his circle like that. Barrett Brooks is somebody I can consider a friend because when I call him, he'll call me back. Right. So there's people that I look at like that. So Urban is a friend. He'll be on next week. I'm trying to get Barrett Brooks, man. But Big B just been busy, but I'm gonna get it done. So, but Sean, hit me up on the Twitter, man. We'll make something happen, bro, for sure. Somebody just hit me with a super chat. David Turn, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, man. Any thoughts on DB with the first pick? Jade Barron, Nick Imawari. If we can get Imawari, I mean, do we need him though? Do we need him? With our secondary the way that it is, I'm a big fan of Keely Ringo. I want to see him get his shot. So, are we going to bring in, especially somebody at that high a pick? I don't see that, but I could see somebody else looking for. See, that would be somebody where Howie would trade with a team so they could get up in the first round and try to make that pick. Do you think he's going to be at 32? I don't think so. But I'm saying that, and I haven't had a chance to go in and do mock drafts, and I'm not even at that place in my head yet. So I know we're going to get there very, very quickly. But shit, I'm still trying to get I'm trying to get my head around March Madness. It's about to start. I'm trying to watch the women's games and the tournaments before they get started, because as soon as March Madness is over, WNBA will be getting started again. So I'll be back on that. So it's stuff going on, man. So I don't know if he's going to even be around. I don't know what Howie's going to do at 32. I don't know. Does he stay at 32, or does he trade up to somewhere that's somebody that's desperate to get in the first round? You know, I could see him trading down and figuring out a way to get like 2 or 3 other picks from that 32 for that first round pick. So this is like, hey man, Howie does Howie things, and this is where you let him work his magic. So DB, I don't know. I would think either a tight end or another defensive tackle / edge, depending on it. It all really depends on what's going to happen with Milt Williams and or Josh Sweat. If we end up losing both of those guys and we don't get Myles Garrett, then we're probably going to go D tackle or D end. D tackle or D end. Because in my opinion, Jalix Hunt, he's good. Jalix Hunt's going to be here. And he's going to get better. And right now he's still on a rookie deal at a cheap price because, you know, I don't even remember what round he was picked. But that'll be easy money until he comes up to the last year of his contract. Then it's kind of rinse and repeat the contract game again. So D tackle or D edge is my prediction for the first pick, if we stay in the first round. If Howie trades those picks away, I don't know what he's gonna do. I have no idea. So let me see something real quick. You know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come up with a screensaver or something. Just to do that. I gotta run out the room. I'll be right back. David, thank you for the $4.99 super chat, bro. Give me 1 second. I gotta go get me a bottle of water. Be right back. That's better. All right. Thank you again, Dave, for the super chat. And let me see. And you know what? 50 tackles, 20 pressures, 4 fumbles. Yeah, he was worth every bit of that 51 million over 3 years. Basically, he was worth every bit of that 36 million. Wasn't that a signing bonus? 36, 34, whatever it was. He was worth it. He earned it. He earned it. Bro, we drove to Delaware to get a 386 so my dad didn't have to pay tax. I don't blame you, man. Back in the day, you know how they tell those stories, man, where they ask the rookies, they say, what did you spend your money on when you got your first check? And one of the guys that I got really, really tight with, still good friends to this day, he was the best man at my wedding, was Willie T, William Thomas, linebacker. Uh, T T was like me. Always like a nerd, always into the computers and the games and all of that type of stuff. And he hooked me up with this guy who had a computer shop in Deptford, and I had this guy build me a computer, 486 DX2, and I spent $3,000 on this thing. Now, mind you, this is back in 1993. So if it was $3,000 back then, you're talking about probably like an $8,000, $9,000 computer in this day with inflation and all that kind of stuff. Got to be like a $5,000 or $6,000 system, maybe not 8 or 9, but you understand what I'm saying. I spent $3,000 in 1993 on a computer, 486 DX2 with uh two ports for controllers. Bought the controllers too. I had like they hooked it up for me. They hooked it up for me. And I had that computer for a while, man. And then slowly moved up, evolved, got my Macs and iMacs and built my PC and all that kind of stuff. One day when I finally get this room together, I'm going to have my PC in a situation or at a different angle where you can see it. Because I got one of those PCs where I got the fans and I got the Eagles logo on it. I got a GeForce 3080, EVGA RTX 3080 graphics card. I got lit fans and strips of light and my RAM. I got 64 gigs of RAM that's RGB and running lights and all that. So I build stuff like that. I get into that type of stuff, man. So one of these days I'm gonna have to showcase that. And if it would stay warm, I need to take this thing outside and clean it out. But so yeah, you drove to Delaware. I ain't mad at you, man. CAD, yeah, I was in CAD. You was the last one to be taught CAD. Yeah, 3D took it over, man. 3D took it over. You design in 3D, you think in 3D. And then when I got out of college, when I stopped playing football, my first job was doing CAD, and I did that for about a year to a year and a half. That was in 97, 98 when I stopped playing football. And then I was at this company out in Cherry Hill, called Intest. And it was a semiconductor industry. And I was doing CAD. And in about not even a year after I was there, they bought SolidWorks. And you started designing everything in 3D, and then SolidWorks evolved, and SolidWorks started doing all of that programming where you could simulate material testing. If you were building a particular structure, did you build it out of steel? Did you build it out of galvanized steel, stainless steel, carbon fiber? The program would simulate like breaking points and all that type of stuff, man. So yeah, once SolidWorks got in the game, man, it just took off. Who do I see getting signed next? I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe Miles. It's either got to be on the team now. I would guess it would be Becton, Mekhi Becton. So I don't know. I still think that Mekhi Becton is going to be he's going to give the quote unquote hometown discount. He doesn't need the bag. I mean, it's easy for me to say it's not my money, but you got to remember Mekhi Becton was a first round pick for the Jets. So he got paid right off the bat. He got that big signing bonus right off the bat. Let me see. Mekhi Becton, rookie contract. Mekhi Becton, rookie contract, 4-year, $18.6 million with the New York Jets. He was the 11th overall pick. His signing bonus was $10 million. His average was 4.6. So he made 18.4 from the Jets. But he signed for $10 million, almost $11 million, 10.9, and his average salary was 4.6 during his 4 years. So he got his bag up front. So now I don't know if he wants to you know try it out, but everything that I've heard from Mekhi Becton tells me that he wants to stay in Philadelphia no matter what. That's what he wants to do. He wants to stay in Philadelphia. So that gives kind of the advantage to the Eagles and Howie Roseman on what they could do. But Howie Roseman is starting to set a precedent where he is going to do right by the players. He is setting that precedent. So he's the one he's the X factor in my book. And I mean that by I don't know what's going to happen with him, because that can go in a couple different directions. Some other team could throw a hell of a lot of money his way. I mean, if that check's big enough, that can sway anybody. So, but like I said before, like he just strikes me as the type of dude like that's happy where he is. And he's good. You know what I'm saying? He's at a good place. Had his kid on the field, and he's in his happy place, man. And for some people, it ain't no amount of money that can change that. And I agree with that, man, because I mean, we only here for a short time and you can't take it with you. So get it while you can get it good. But there is especially, and I didn't even think about this until just now. And I'm kind of thinking about AJ Brown and the situation that AJ Brown went through with the mental awareness and him letting everybody know that he went through his bouts of suicide and things of that nature. There's a famous there was somebody put it on Twitter. It went viral. He was in a press conference, and the woman, whoever was asking the question, was trying to ask him about his mental health struggles, and she was crying. She couldn't even get the question out. She was crying so hard. And he was like real patient, and like he immediately understood what she was trying to get to. And he was like, it's all right, take your time. So for people like that go through those type of struggles, and for whatever reason, your mental health, your environment matters. Your environment matters. And this environment for Mekhi Becton is premium for him. And I don't think he's willing to give that up, regardless of the cost. So you go somewhere new, you got to learn new people. You got to get along with new personalities. And anybody knows this. Anybody that's ever started a new job, you already know. It's not going to a new place knowing if you can do the job. It's going to the new place, meeting all of these new people. Because the older you get, the more comfortable you get. And meeting new people, going new places is just not, you don't want to do that. You got to deal with different personalities, and you already know personalities sometimes don't mix. How many people do you know where you can say, I don't like them? How come you don't like them? I don't know. I just don't, just ain't. Well, you can't really verbalize it, but it's just y'all repellent for whatever reason. It's just in some situations, you got two personalities that they can't get it together. And you face that every time you go to somewhere new. And a lot of people don't want to deal with that. That's stressful for a lot of people. For a lot of people, man. So, and I'm saying all that to say, Mekhi Becton, I think he's happy in Philadelphia. And it seems to me, the optics are, I don't know this, I'm guessing, but the optics are that he enjoys this environment and he is at his best in this environment with Jeff Stoutland. And I think he will want to stay. That's my guess. Let me see. A lot of people still think we're getting Garrett. A lot of things got to happen, man. I can see Lane Johnson restructuring. I can see that. I can see all of that. All of that. So again, this is Howie season. Yeah, I think we need to. We're definitely gonna get a tight end now. Whether we draft one or pick up a veteran remains to be seen. So I would think that they would try to draft one. I could see Howie picking up somebody in like the third, fourth round or something like that. Basically finding somebody like Jalix Hunt again. Somebody from a small school that just wows you with their workouts and kind of slips under the radar, and you just kind of sneak in and call his number. I can see that happening, especially at tight end, because nobody's thinking about a tight end. You know, gone are the days. When's the last time you seen somebody like Jeremy Shockey or Antonio Gates or Tony Gonzalez? You know what I'm saying? The Gronk. Like, when do you see those type of tight ends anymore? You don't. Kittles is not big like that. He's a receiver. Travis is a receiver. Travis is a receiver in a tight end's body. And I said this the other day. The reason why Kelsey and Travis are so good, you people forget, or maybe they just didn't know. Jason Kelsey was a running back in high school. Most of the people played both ways in high school. Jason Kelsey was a running back and a linebacker. Both situations, you running all over the place. You got to be fast as a linebacker. You got to be good as a running back. You got to be You got to have shifty feet. Now you fast forward about 6-7 years through his high school and then into college, and then he fills out, and you still got those running back feet. Except now, you damn near 300 pounds and 6'3". So that's why Jason Kelsey was so good at center. And then Travis was a quarterback. He was a QB, and he was a hooper. So his athletic ability was always there. And now you just move him to tight end. Now teach him how to block, teach him how to, get out in the coverage and learn him, teach him how to run routes and all that. And again, when Travis Kelsey figured out how good he was, that's when he settled down, because he was a knucklehead at Cincinnati. Jason Kelsey had to plead for him to keep him in school. So, but when you get that type of talent, man, it finally clicked. Finally clicked. And he's gonna end his career as one of the, if not the, best of all time. I still think it was Gronk. And technically Tony Gonzalez should be in that count, but Tony Gonzalez didn't win no Super Bowls. So it's right now, in my opinion, it's Gronk is 1 and Travis Kelsey is 1.1. I wouldn't even call him 1A, because he is like right there. Him and Gronk are right there. I think I would always give Gronk the edge just because Gronk was so big and physical and just so dominant. And Travis on the other side of that, Travis had finesse, man. He got moves like a wide receiver. So we'll see what they're looking at, man. We'll see what they're looking at. Oh, your oldest daughter, she July 12th. That's what's up. Whoever we do get a tight end, they gotta be able to block, bro. Because that was an issue last year. We got to get better at that. So, projected mid first round, probably. I could see that happening. Because here's the thing, and I already see this happening right now. I don't know if you guys been watching Good Morning Football. Good Morning Football and Unsportsmanlike. Love that show with Chris Canty and Michelle Smallman and the other dude. I forget. Evan. I forget what his name. I think it's Evan, Chris Canty, and Michelle Smallman. Love that show, and I love Good Morning Football with Jamie Erdahl and all them dudes on there. But anyways, everybody's talking about. I'm thinking it's a false flag. All of these reports coming out about Shador, and I'm like, see, I was like, they trying to change the narrative and move the goalposts. Shador is it. Shador and Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is a little bit better than Shador, only because Cam Ward has got a more live arm than Shador. Shador does not have a weak arm by no stretch. And for people trying to put that out there, and as much as I love Mina Kimes, I disagree with her on that point because I'm one of those people that believe you don't have to throw the ball 80 yards in the air because rarely are you going to be in that situation. The only time when that comes into play is if you in a Hail Mary. And if you in a Hail Mary situation, well, guess what? It wasn't in the cards for you anyway. I mean, you look at the Hail Mary that Jaden Daniels did. He threw the ball from what, the 50? So long ball is overrated. But in any case, Shador Sanders, if you watch the games, you can't tell me that kid is not talented. You can't tell me that kid should not be a top 5 pick. I refuse to believe that. Now, the top 5 thing is I believe he's the second best quarterback in the draft. That's my opinion. I believe Cam Ward is number 1, Shador is number 2, and then everybody else. And everybody will give their reasons why and talking about, yeah, he comes off as arrogant and all. I'm like, we done dealt with Baker Mayfield and Johnny Manziel and Cam Newton, and you done dealt with all of these quarterbacks, and there was never a problem that quarterbacks was arrogant because quarterbacks are arrogant by nature. They get the lion's share of the attention. So what are you talking about? Why is that a problem all of a sudden? And that's just the subterfuge that they're doing, trying to throw shade on people. So maybe uh, people won't take him, or a situation like Jalen Carter should have been the number 1 pick in the draft and ended up dropping to 10 to us. Thank you very much. And stuff like that happens all the time. So I don't believe it because I know for as much money as teams put into the draft, they're doing their homework. And if they're doing their homework, you see what Shador Sanders can do. Stop fronting. Like, stop playing because it just sounds stupid. And it sounds stupid and it sounds racist, in my opinion. Because you don't have that problem with nobody else. So, and the only reason that's coming across like that is either A, you biased because that's Deion's son, or B, you don't like black quarterbacks. So, a lot of times, like, listen, man, the ists and the isms are real. Because if Shador Sanders looked a different way and had them numbers, I said this a couple years ago with Jalen Hurts. If Trevor Lawrence had Jalen Hurts' stats his rookie year, Trevor Lawrence would have been the first team Pro Bowl for sure. For sure. But they're gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna play these games, trying to get people to fall off a pick or think another way. Hopefully, they get past that. But with the way social media travels now, it's all predetermined and leaking information and all that kind of stuff. All that type of stuff, man. So Frado says, all we can do is wait and see. I can feel us getting Myles Garrett, though, either by the start of the season or in season. I don't think it's going to last that long. Somebody going to pony up some money for him. And guess what? Your boy in Las Vegas didn't help the situation. He just drove the damn price up. That's why I think we might be out of the sweepstakes. Because what did they just give him? Max Crosby, 100 million or something goofy like that? That's he Scrooge McDuck. All that money he just got. Ooh, I didn't see this. This is 4 minutes ago, so this is breaking news. The Chargers have released Joey Bosa. Saves the Chargers $25.36 million against the cap. Wow. Wow. Now I know everybody gonna be jumping on like, yeah, maybe if we don't get Myles Garrett, maybe we can get Bosa. Man, Bosa can't come to Philly, man. That's not a good look. uh Cooper Cup's gonna be out. See, when I see all of this stuff like this, man, this is when you sit back and just look at Howie and just like, got you, dog. Got you. Where's that meme? Where's that meme? Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Oh my god. Let me see. That's it right there. That's what Howie looking like right there. Just got you, dog. Howie doing his work, man. Just keep doing your thing, Mr. Roseman. Keep doing your thing. Um, I've heard this before, Pat. Like a lot of good depth at a lot of positions, man. And a lot of people are saying this year, there's a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of athletes, 3, 4, and 5 that technically should be 1, 2, and 3. So apparently, there's some good depth in this year's drafts. At least that's what they're saying. Um, Tiffany, can you imagine if Howie do the draft this year like he did last year? That was crazy. Hey, if somebody drops to us like they did last year, and this is the thing that's always funny to me because you gotta, and it came full circle when everybody saw what happened with Saquon. When you got a room full of people that you paying all of that money to because they supposed to be the smartest people in the room, and they're not. They are not the smartest people in the room. They just got everybody in there fooled, or they're used to everybody telling them that they're the smartest people in the room. One way or another, it's going to play itself out. One way or another, you are going to be exposed. And that's what's happening. You see that Hard Knocks got to cut it. They had to shut it down. They got to. I think it's going to be another Hard Knocks, but they're going in a different direction. It ain't going to be in somebody's football field. It ain't going to be on one of these teams, one of the NFL teams. They had enough of that. The New York Jets put that smack down, or not the Giants. I'm sorry, the New York Giants. It was like after that, don't no team want to touch Hard Knocks. I have never. I bet you I've watched maybe one episode of Hard Knocks, but I've never watched the entire episode. And the reason I could never watch Hard Knocks is because the first episode that ever came on, the first thing they started with was watching somebody get cut. And I was like, oof. If you could just understand what that feels like, I was like, that's not where you should start. And after that, I never watched it for that reason. In every season, they would always show somebody getting cut. And I'm like, oh, just If you've ever been through that, seen it, it's rough. It's rough when you get that call. Hey, Marcus, why don't you come on down to the stadium and bring your playbook? They got me, huh, coach? Yeah, come on in. Oof. Don't nobody want that phone call, man. And every time I even think about it, or when I see it on TV with somebody else, I get that feeling in the pit of my stomach. I remember walking into the vet, creeping into the locker room because I didn't know if I had been cut. Me and Vaughn Hebron looking around, making sure that somebody wasn't going to sneak up on you and tap you on your shoulder. Because it was people, you think you made it and you didn't, you still didn't make it. Because somebody can like, hey man, got to get you up out of here because we went in a different direction and all that type of like, oof. You talking about unease, on edge all day. Like the whirlwind of emotions you go through on cut day, on final cut day. I done made it this far. Balled out, had a good game. I'll tell anybody, if you go back and you look at 1993 preseason, we played against Atlanta. I had 12 carries, 72 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That is how I made the Eagles that year. That game right there. But a lot of people don't get that opportunity. And even doing that, I still couldn't get damn Kotite to put me on special teams and let me do anything. That changed my trajectory. Because if I get on special teams, somebody else pick me up, put me on special teams, I could have hung around a little bit longer if things would have went differently. That's the way it goes. It's not in your. There's so many people in the league that get cut that shouldn't. And there's so many people that make the team that shouldn't. There's tons of people in the league that shouldn't be there. And there's tons of people that should be in the league who aren't. Every year. Every year. Okay, Tiffany. Camden Zone. All right, all right. I am not from here. I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, but I've been in South Jersey, in Sicklerville area since I met my wife. So I'm a transplant, but Skyline chili and cheesesteaks, right? Thank you about the background. I appreciate that. I works hard on my backgrounds. Eventually, them people in the back are gonna have on Eagles shirts. I'm working on that. They're gonna be green, Kelly green, and the midnight green. Working on it. Don Vaughn said CAD. I'm behind in the questions, man. So I'm looking at some of these questions. You talking about CAD? Yeah. I started out, man, with AutoCAD Lite. Dude, I think I started with AutoCAD 3, bro. I remember in high school we did programs that it wasn't even called CAD. It was called something else. And it was on this was back when the computers was just the two-tone, the monochrome, either black and white or green and white, the monitor. So it wasn't like this was before graphics, bro. I expect Milton and Sweat to leave from the beginning. No worries. Hope we can comp pick or two. Yeah, that looks like where it might be, but I don't even want to say that's what it looks like because how we gonna hit you with a curveball? He gonna hit you with a curve sooner or later. So just when you think it was safe, I was joking with that with Dave Spadaro when he was on. If you didn't see that video, man, go back and watch my conversation with Spadaro. It was awesome, man. And then my boy Jason Dunn hopped on towards the end of the show. He jumped in the chat. Do they look at Becton as a tackle or a guard? I think they're looking at Becton as a guard that can be a backup tackle if something happens to Lane Johnson, because they'll move him over to tackle and then put Tyler Steen at guard. So they got 2 versatile players. Same thing they did with Dickerson. He's a guard that they moved to center because he had started for 2 years at Bama at center. So he could do it. And then once he got his feet wet, he didn't skip a beat. We already got Jurgens taken care of. So right now, for me, Gainwell, I think, is gone. I think it comes down to Becton. If Isaiah Rodgers walks, I'm good with that. Because, again, I like Keely Ringo. So I think it's on Becton. Covey, you can get another punt returner. And one thing people are always forgetting, man, you got the USFL coming. They about to play another season. And why can't we find somebody like Cavante Turpin? Because I watched Cavante Turpin wreck shop in the USFL. So you're talking about guys that already have NFL experience, whether they was in a camp, got cut, or something like that, but they're playing ball. They're playing ball. So you bringing somebody in that can plug and play, and that's exactly what Dallas did with Cavante Turpin. If anybody watched the tape when he was the MVP of the league that year, why wouldn't you not want that dude on your team? People get mixed up in they get they I don't know, they just get it mixed up. Like there's a stigma if you played in the Arena League or USFL or XFL. Like we had that if you played in the World League. You know what I mean? So you got to overcome that stuff. And I don't understand it. At the end of the day, if you can ball, you can ball. Point period in the paragraph. And Dallas, Cavante Turpin, once he got his hands on the ball, school was out. And that's all you got to do is get these dudes an opportunity. I like USFL and XFL. I try to watch it as much as I can because I know what I went through in the World League. I still got my I show this a lot. I keep my rings. Keep my rings. There you go. Got my name on it. Scottish Claymores, 1996 World Bowl champions. Yep. So I keep all my rings. I got that, and I got two of my college championship rings. These are a little different because these were conference championships, but this was the deal. This was the deal. Got my A5A shot glass. So yeah, man. Chip is a chip, but what I was saying was, man, I got love for all them dudes, man. If you playing ball, you playing ball. Don't matter if you're in the CFL, don't matter if you Arena League, semi-pro. If you balling, you balling. So, let me see. Oren Burks, yeah. I don't know if they're gonna resign him, but I think they should because of I don't know what's gonna happen with N'Kobe. I don't know how long his rehab's gonna be. So, any draft prospects I'm liking yet? It's hard for me to even say, man. I did one mock draft already, and I didn't even study anything. I just found the website and just clicked the button and see what it would come up with. But I've done next to zero homework, man, because I'm still in the fog of the Super Bowl. That's what me and Spadero was talking about the other day. It's like after you got over the hangover of the parade and everything, it's like, damn, the combine is here already. So just getting into that, when last year we lose in the first round, you got 5-6 weeks to prepare. So it's kind of like always on your mind, but now it's just like it kept going and going and going. So I don't know. I don't know. I got to really sit down and look at what all the teams need, who's drafting ahead of us, who's drafting twice in the first round, and all of that kind of stuff. So it's all about what the teams ahead of you are looking for. Every now and then, you're gonna get a situation where a team is gonna draft the best available, whether they need them or not. And then it kind of disrupts the apple cart and it kind of shuffles the deck a little bit because now people are looking at athletes that they didn't think were going to be available at that time. You know what I mean? Jalen Carter. Nobody thought we would have an opportunity to get Jalen Carter. Nobody. Or Cooper DeJean. So Nolan Smith. So things like that happen all the time, man. So I'm still going through these. Let me drop the link if anybody wants to come on. You want to keep Milt Williams, Tiff? Well, here's the thing with Milt Williams. Milt Williams has earned his money. Milt Williams is what Javon Hargrave was last year. Like he played that well, and I don't think we're gonna be able to keep him. Especially again, you got to look at Max Crosby, and The stats. I'd have to look at that. I don't know who's got better stats, Max Crosby or Milt Williams. We just came off of a Super Bowl where it was possible that Milt Williams could have been the MVP. It could have been Milt Williams, Jalen Hurts, or Josh Sweat. So we could have did we. I mean, anything could have happened, man. So it's a lot of that, man. So you know, Milt Williams is gonna get a lot of money. So yeah, George, I was saying, breaking news: Joey Bosa, he's released. So we'll see what's gonna happen. We will see what's gonna happen. But I got one person backstage right now. I'm gonna bring up in a minute. But I can have like 3 or 4 people on stage at the same time. So just because I got one person up on camera, don't mean you can still jump in the chat. So check out the link. Jump on in if you want to. My guy Chris 3K is in the building. What up, Chris?
What up, Coach?
What's good with you, man? Talk to me.
Nothing much. First, I mean, obviously, news of the day. Well, between yesterday and today, re-signing the extension for Saquon, and then obviously bringing Baun back. First thing, I got a question. I don't think I had a chance to ask you yet, but obviously the Myles Garrett, rumors. What do you feel? Or it's kind of a 2-part question. Do you think he's a necessity for what we have? And then 2, what do you think is sort of the limit in terms of what you're willing to give up to get him? Or do you think we could just stay in pat and let these young guys continue to grow?
That last part, yes.
Okay.
I think we're good with what. See, I can't say that though because we're about to lose Sweat and or Milt Williams.
Milt Williams, yeah.
So that changes things. So my logic tells me as long as you get somebody in that can complement Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter is the key. Period.
Right.
Jalen Carter is the key. He is our future on our defense. So we have to support him. If we can get Myles Garrett, that will be fabulous. However, the thing that does is if you got to pay Myles Garrett all of that money to get him, what you think Jalen Carter is going to demand when his contract is time to re-up? You see what I mean? So again, I'm going back to what just happened with Max Crosby. He just broke the bank.
He sure did.
So, but he set the market.
Yeah,
he just set the market. So, and that's the game that everybody plays. That's why Saquon re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
You do it now, so the price don't go up.
Right.
So now, Max Crosby, a defensive end or a defensive lineman, if you want to get generic, because now everybody wants to get generic because the money.
Yeah.
The money is like that. But
yeah.
So you know what everybody's gonna do? They're gonna compare. Can Josh Sweat compare his stats to Max Crosby? Yep. Can Milt Williams compare his stats to Matt Crosby? Yep. So that just drives the price up. But that's the gamble you do. That's what happened with CJ Gardner-Johnson 2 years ago.
Yeah, when he left Detroit.
Yeah, CJ Gardner-Johnson was leading the league in interceptions. Yep. So he earned the right to find his value. His only issue was he overshot his market.
Yeah.
And if you remember, Slay was on his way out of here. Slay was sending tweets and his wife was tweeting. It was real. All of that stuff. He was ready to go. And then when CJ Gardner-Johnson did what he did, Howie was like, well, hold on. And Slay even told the story. He was about to sign with Baltimore until Big Dom changed his mind.
Yeah.
So
I saw that earlier this week that Big Dom was one that I don't know gave him a call.
Yeah. So and there's still a possibility that we could get Slay back.
That'd be huge.
So letting Slay go was a courtesy to him.
Right.
We let you go now, test the market, find out what your value is. And then if the value is not too high, the Eagles can still match it. Because at this point, for Slay, and again, this is just my opinion, Slay don't need the money.
No.
Slay, and you got to look at it like this. The Slay really want to uproot everything that he done put down here for the last 5 years and go somewhere else. No. Does he really want to do that? And then you got to look at where is he going. You done been to the playoffs the last 3 years in a row. You done been to the Super Bowl twice.
Yeah.
So now you got an expectation. Your cost of living went up.
Exactly, yeah. And I don't think he want to go back down to whatever he'd be relegated, because
he don't want to go to no losing team.
Well, yeah, I mean, right now, outside of, even though they lost, I still got the respect for Kansas City, what they've done over the last, 5 years. But outside of them, I don't know nobody doing it better than we are in Philly and with the Eagles.
Nobody is.
Nobody. Like I say, I respect, obviously, the longevity of what Mahomes and Reed done built. So 1 year is not going to tarnish that 5-year run they've been on. But outside of them, ain't nobody doing it like the Eagles doing it.
But I'd be surprised if I don't see them. They're going to struggle next year.
Yo, Kansas City, yeah.
Travis Kelce is a year older. Joe Tooney just left. Their best offensive lineman just left. They signed with Chicago
this morning. Yeah, this morning. Yeah.
So who's gonna replace that? What's his name?
I think they might lose Nick Bolton too.
Who?
The linebacker, Nick Bolton.
Nick Bolton? Shoot.
Yeah, they might lose him too. Because they got some.
So guys for them, they suffering with age and expiring contracts. They going through the same thing everybody else went through. Because let's not get it twisted. It's gonna happen for us again in another 3-4 years.
It happens it's just the nature of the sport. It's not built for you to have a 10-year run. You know what I'm saying? It's
lucky for us.
Yeah.
Howie Roseman has been a master when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so like you said, I'm with you on the Slay point. Is I don't really see where he'd want to go to where he's gonna feel like, like you said, this is the last 3 years you've been to 2 Super Bowls, you won one because they easily got the other, but I don't know nowhere else you're gonna get that. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know.
No.
I know Washington is trying to do their thing now with getting some guys, but I mean, we're the class of the NFC by a pretty good margin, if you ask me.
It's us, it's Washington. I don't even know if I could put the Cowboys over the Giants. I guess I could, but I got to see it first.
Are you talking about just within the division or the whole conference?
I'm just looking at where we rank in our division.
Oh, it's us.
You know what I mean? What is Detroit doing now?
Well, I don't know. See, the thing with Detroit, and this is just me being, a little bit purely objective. They did lose Aiden Hutchinson last year, so it might be a situation where they're gonna have to make moves, but they also might be somewhat better if they just don't get as hurt. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but
that does play a role. But they still got work to do. I mean,
absolutely.
The Eagles.
Here's the caveat with Detroit, though. When you have the type of injuries that they had,
yeah,
a lot of times when you coming back, you're not coming back 100%.
You're not, and they're going to deal with what we went through last year with the 2 coordinators we lost. They dealing with that. They lost both, and Dan Campbell ain't the head coach. That's a play caller. He's kind of that Sirianni CEO type coach where it's like
exactly. He's a defensive guy. He can call the defense.
Yeah, but
he's more like what's his name that was in Washington?
Before not Dan Quinn. You talking about before Dan Quinn?
Yeah. Old linebacker from Chicago.
Linebacker from Chicago. I'm forgetting.
What's his name? Daggone it. I'm getting old, man.
It ain't just you. We all forget. Who was in Washington before Quinn got there?
Somebody put it in the chat. Ron Rivera. Thank you.
Ron Rivera. There you go.
Yeah, Ron Rivera was good, man. He was a good ass linebacker back in the day.
He was good. But yeah, I think, like you said, they're gonna have to. Well, with them losing 2 coordinators to head coaching jobs, they're gonna have an uphill climb too.
They got an uphill climb. So everybody is kind of. We are the only, in my opinion, team right now in position to really run it back.
Absolutely, because we're in a unique spot where if you look across the conference, we obviously won the Super Bowl, and so obviously we're gonna lose a couple guys, but we keeping, we extended Saquon, we keeping Zack Baun. I mean, we're bringing back core guys. Fangio is going to be back next year, obviously. I think Patullo has been with the Eagles for so long that he can just step into that role. And
next year will be his 8th year.
His 8th year, exactly.
Yeah.
So he's not a guy who isn't familiar with Jalen or Nick or the organization. He's been around the whole time. I mean, he was there before even Jalen got drafted. So
we got possibly 2 more years
oh yeah.
where we're legitimate favorites
Yeah,
because let me see, 25, 26, 27. After 27, that'll be when Jalen's contract is up. I think 27 going into 28. That's when we're gonna have to reshuffle the deck a little bit. So
you talking about Jalen Carter or Jalen Hurts?
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, okay.
So and it doesn't necessarily mean we're gonna do anything, but
Right.
we'll just be in that situation where something's gonna have to be done.
Something's gonna have to be figured
So,
out.
Jalen Hurts will be
28.
He'll still be under 30.
He's young. I mean, he's a young dude. That's why, for all the success he's had, he's incredibly underappreciated because for all the success he's had, he's only 25, 26. He's only going to keep getting better over these next couple of years.
Right. At the end of his contract, I believe Jalen Hurts will be 28.
Right. And to me, he's a smart enough guy. Now, hopefully he can kind of stay away from sliding and getting some of those concussions, like the concussion he had. But I think he's smart enough when he runs to where he's not taking a bunch of big hits where you're worried about him, putting himself.
So here's the thing with Jalen. So Jalen got 2 more years.
Yep.
Because I remember Donovan McNabb did this. He did it early. He did it in his 3rd year, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Donovan McNabb, he reported to camp. I believe I want to say it was 3rd year. It could have been his 4th. I can't, not fuzzy. But he reported to camp and he was physically like yoked, he cranked it up.
Yep.
And I remember him saying that he got bigger because he had to be able to take the punishment of being a pocket quarterback.
Right.
And everybody was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, use your God-given talent, get up out of there. But he knew eventually you got to be able to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball. And that's Absolutely. What he did. But I remember that year specifically because he struggled because he had gotten so big. He was putting a lot of balls in the dirt because his arms had gotten so big.
Yeah.
But once he got used to it, he turned into what he turned into.
Yeah.
So Jalen Hurts is going to have to do the same thing.
Yeah. But I think
the good thing about Jalen is he's done it before.
Yeah.
The problem is if that's going to happen for him, we can't keep having offensive coordinator revolving door. We can't have that.
It's sort of, the gift and the curse is that because he wins so much that his OCs are highly coveted, so they end up taking him, Steichen 2 years ago, Kellen this year. I don't think Patullo is necessarily a guy who's on people's radar, but shoot, if Jalen goes out there and lights it up and we win again next year, he probably will be on somebody's radar. Maybe not next year, but the year after that, so the hope is that, like you said, we can keep some type of continuity for him to where he's not, I think, 8 OCs in the last 8 years? Something crazy like that.
He done had, Steichen was the only coach he had for more than a year.
More than a year. He had him for 2 years.
And you saw what, I remember saying this. when I had my podcast. This was back when I was still doing A2D radio stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember saying that second year with Steichen, I was like, Jalen Hurts got the answers to the test. He finally got a coordinator for the second year. I was like, so you're going to see some things different. And we ended up going to the Super Bowl. We lost that game. He outplayed Mahomes, but we ended up losing that game because of defense sucked.
Not only did he would have been the MVP that year had he not gotten hurt. He was going to be the league MVP too. It wasn't just, because this year they tried to say, well, it was everybody around him, but we've seen him be the de facto best player in the league, and we get to the Super Bowl. So, that's what happens when he had the chance to have some continuity with his OC and have him back-to-back years. If the other quarterback didn't have Lamar, didn't had his OC for a few years. I mean, Mahomes and Reed, even Josh Allen has had, because I think their head coach is calling. I think he kind of controls the offense. So Jalen is the only guy, if you look in an elite class, where he's getting different OCs. Every Burrow's had the same. I think he's pretty much had the same.
but see, now here's where I got to give Sirianni credit, because people are realizing now that this is Sirianni's offense.
Yeah,
you just got different people calling the shots.
Yeah,
but this is so. And I'm saying that because Jalen Hurts, he's not having to learn a new system all the
No,
time.
no.
So that helps his situation. But I think the one thing that he does have to do next year, because now there are no excuses. Now there's no reason for him to, to throw for 115 yards in a game. There's no
No,
reason for that to do that because we know he knows what to do. He knows where to
absolutely.
get rid of the ball, and there should be no reason why he can't go between 250 and 350 every week and still
Easily.
give Saquon 25 touches. You can
His
still do
touches.
both.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, I don't think those two things, and I like the fact you said that, I agree with that. I don't think those things are, mutually exclusive. I think both of those things can kind of happen at the same time, where Jalen is, throwing it and Saquon is still running it. I don't think those two things, I don't think it's one or the other. I just think the way Saquon ran it this year and the way the defense was playing and some of the other things, I'm like, I can't blame them for being like, look, if we don't turn it over, nobody beating us, because that was true. So
Yeah,
that
but
was
he
that.
going the over time.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't surprise me if his runs got throttled down a little bit,
You
and I'm
talking about
okay with that.
Jalen or Saquon?
Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got so much of Saquon. And this is still my opinion that although we did not, with the exception of maybe Shady, Saquon is the best running back the Eagles have ever had, bar
Yeah,
none.
I don't think there's. I don't think there's
And
a debate on.
Shady's not as good as Saquon, but Shady is the closest thing we
He's
had
the closest thing
to
for sure.
somebody that was a home run hit every time he touched the ball.
Yeah, he was. He was, like you said. He was the closest thing for sure. But
But
Saquon, you know,
Saquon's gonna get old too.
absolutely.
So everything has to be everything has to be balanced out. He ain't got to
Yeah.
have 25 carries a game.
Nah. He don't. I
And
really hope, and I really believe, as much as bringing these players back and how he does, I still think that the continuous evolvement of Jalen is the number one key to,
absolutely.
you
I,
know,
I
the
want to see the situation where Jalen ain't running no more. And
I do too.
he can drop back and throw the ball 30 to 35 times a
I
game.
really do, because I think the thing that makes him unique is I think he's still developing and getting better. I don't think he's at his absolute best to where this is what we're gonna get. I think he's still continuing to learn and grow as a quarterback, and I feel like with each, I'm hoping next year. Not say that we completely stop running the ball, but I do want to see him, take another step, little by little, continue to get better, and let's start spreading this ball around a little bit. Because I mean, you still got AJ, you still got Devontae. Dallas will be there next year. And I still have a hope that we can get Saquon the ball a little bit in the passing game. I'm hoping, if anything Patullo can do, and we've been terrible at this, even with all the success we had,
Screen game?
screen game. Man, you just said it.
I already
Dude,
know, bro.
I've been I'm almost jealous of other teams, because I'm like, these teams got a screen game. And we got
Man,
weapons too, so ain't no reason why, you know what I'm saying?
all they got to do is turn on the tape and look at Andy Reid. Andy Reid was the master of the screen. But
Master of the screen game. Well, let's
when that's what I thought they was going to do with DeAndre Swift, but they
yeah.
didn't.
They didn't. They didn't. I mean, he never really got, those touches. I felt like, as DeAndre was, he might just end up being forgotten kind of because of what happened last year. But
DeAndre was
DeAndre
nasty, man.
was electric, man. He
He
was.
was
I mean,
nasty. But you know what? And I said this before too. Miles Sanders, with that offensive line we had, Miles Sanders should have led the league in rushing.
he
That
absolutely
year
did.
Josh Jacobs won.
Yep.
Miles Sanders, and the reason why I say that is I'm using a little bit of mathematics, but Josh Jacobs had 60 more carries than Miles Sanders. And then you take the difference in carries and you multiply it by Miles Sanders yards per carry. And that number would have put him over the top. So basically, I'm saying if Miles Sanders would have had the same amount of carries as Josh Jacobs, he would have led the league in rushing.
He'd let the league run.
And we had the offensive line to do it.
Absolutely.
Miles Sanders was getting if he got 15 carries in the game, that was great for him.
Oh yeah.
But he was averaging 10 to 12 touches a game, and it's like you ain't
Yeah.
going. Nah,
That's when I think you're talking about the 23 team, right? The one that got to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
I'm both years, 22 and 23.
Yeah, I'm like that year where I don't know how many he ran for, but man,
Oh no, that'd have been 21 and 22.
21 and 22. Okay,
Because 23 we had DeAndre.
yeah, okay, so yes, 22. Yeah, I know 22. You saw that was the other Super Bowl year. Yeah,
Yeah.
that man, that team was, obviously we didn't win it, but man, that team was offensively, that team was a
Yeah.
juggernaut. That team was, I mean, like you said, Miles didn't even get the load of carries that Saquon did, but man,
Nope.
he was just, I mean, they were bullying people, man. Like that team was different. But
With
yeah,
our offensive line, man, we should have been a run first team as long as when Kelsey was here and Lane Johnson was in his prime. We should have been a run first team. Period. It should
should
have
have
been no
been,
excuse. No excuse. So,
should have been, should have been,
but
should
it
have
is what it is, man.
been. Yeah.
We're in a good spot.
Oh yeah.
Howie Roseman is rebuilding, or I should say reloading.
Reloading.
And
Yeah.
my question is simply now, I don't have no qualms. Like Howie Roseman, whatever you gonna do. I got no gripes, man. Do
Yeah.
you
He
work your work?
he can't do no wrong.
I just want to know if he's gonna try to stay at 32, or is he gonna trade
I
up
was
out of
just
that?
about to ask you that. So as far as the draft, where are you thinking? What do you
I
think
think
the
he's gonna trade out
direction?
of that 32 pick.
Trade
I
up?
think he'll end up getting like 3 picks in rounds 2, 3, and 4 for
Oh,
that
so he's gonna
32
trade
pick.
for that 32. Okay, so he'll trade out.
Somebody's gonna want to move up, so they're gonna give up like a second and a fourth and a fifth or something like that. Because, and this is
Mm-hmm.
the buzz that I heard when I was watching the combine, everybody's talking about there's gonna be a lot of good players in rounds 3, 4, and 5. I'm like, okay, if they say so, but but
Yeah.
Howie, that's what he does best. So I don't
Where
see why
would
they.
you where positionally where would you go? Or if it was you, where would you be looking at in the draft if you wanted to kind of reload? Is it something on
It
the
looks
offensive
like
side of the ball, something defense?
it looks like we're gonna have to get a defensive tackle or a defensive end again.
Makes
Do
sense.
I possibly defensive tackle, defensive end, and tight end? And then there'll be some other picks, and we'll get
Yep.
free agents. That's when we'll get a couple of more cornerbacks, maybe another safety. Because not for
Yeah.
nothing, I can
Mm-hmm.
see Howie putting together a trade package and getting rid of Sidney Brown. I like Sidney Brown, but
Love Sidney Brown.
he ain't cracking his lineup now, unless
Nah,
something
probably
happened with
not.
C.J. Garner
Nah.
Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Sydney,
So
like you said, he might be somebody. But I'm just with Fangio, and like I said, I think talent obviously is a part of the equation. But with the way he's able to coach guys up, I got the ultimate confidence. I don't care where they draft a guy. I just feel like they're gonna coach him up and have him ready to play. Because there's nobody that, if you go back to last year's draft, would have told you that Jalix Hunt would have been starting, or I don't know if he started, but getting them type of snaps in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm
he was
saying?
paying
So
dividends.
I just think
Yeah.
I think with Fangio, like, listen, whoever you bring in, I got the ultimate confidence in the player development that they're doing right now, and whoever he's gonna have come in, I'm pretty. Oren Burks, the way he stepped in during the playoffs when the Kobe went down, I just think Fangio's gonna have whoever they bring in ready to go. So
Well,
I think
we'll see.
that's the biggest.
It's a
Yeah,
lot of
we
moving
will for
parts,
sure,
man,
for
and,
sure.
and,
But
and it's
yeah,
gonna change the closer we get to the draft. So
yeah. So yeah, that was it. Oh, last thing. Who do you think? So, do you think Washington right now is our biggest? I don't say biggest threat, but you think Washington is the biggest threat that we kind of have right now in the NFC,
in our
or
division, absolutely.
think of somebody else? You think Detroit? Okay,
Um, just throughout the league or just in the NFC?
just in the NFC. I only worry about the conference first. We worry about the Super Bowl when we get there, but
Um,
just in the NFC, you think they're
I
the
think
biggest opposition we
Washington
got, or
has
you
the
think
potential to be
Detroit?
that good. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Debo. Because now that they got Debo, what they're gonna do with
Yeah,
Austin Eckler? That's the same type of back.
good point.
So, but Debo is
Basically,
Debo. But apparently, if Debo was still that dude, San Francisco wouldn't have got rid of him.
especially with they got rid of him, and I don't know if Ayuk will even be ready for Week 1 next year because he's coming off, I think, an ACL, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think
So
Ayuk is going to be there.
Yeah,
They're gonna have a totally
that
different
tells
offense.
you everything they need.
Because
That tells you pretty much what you know.
And the thing with San Francisco is when they lost that Super Bowl, that wasn't Brock Purdy's fault. Brock Purdy had a solid game.
No.
So he gonna get his money. He ain't gonna get, Brock Purdy probably gonna get somewhere between 30 and 40 million for like 3 years. He gonna get a bag, but he ain't gonna get like a Jalen Hurts bag. So
No.
So we'll see. But I think in NFC, I think Detroit will be back, but I'm thinking that. I don't know how they're gonna recover from these injuries. And then so Washington is Washington is our biggest threat. So
I think so.
I'm trying to think. I'm not worried about Green Bay. I'm not worried about the Vikings.
No.
Nobody. I'm not worried about San Fran. I'm not worried about.
Really, I don't think Tampa.
Hell nah. Not Tampa. No. Yeah, I think Washington. It's going to be us in Washington for the foreseeable future. I don't know what Dallas is up in the air. They had a decent signing that defensive tackle, but you don't know what Dallas is going to have this year. They got new coaches that nobody in Dallas is excited about. So we'll see. Dak Prescott has just been Dak Prescott. Somebody said this the other day. I had to laugh. Jalen Hurts was born, went to high school, went to college, went to a Super Bowl twice, and Dallas still ain't won a conference championship. It's crazy. But I mean, it's
still ain't been one. Not just one. They still ain't been no one.
Nah. So
and then Jaden Daniels too. I think he was on that same meme. Like, he was born and all that, and got to a championship for that team in Dallas.
Washington's in a good spot, man. Once they got rid of that owner, they were in good shot. They were in a good space. So it'll be interesting to see.
They're in a good spot, but I think we the class of the NFC right now, so we just got to keep doing what we're doing. As long as we keep dealing, we'll be all right.
We got the bling.
Yeah. So. We remember everything. They go through us. We don't worry about nobody. They got to figure out the Eagles. The Eagles ain't got to figure out nobody. So.
Yeah.
But that was just my 2 cents.
I tend to I'm in the mode now because Howie's doing everything and we making moves. But when the season starts, I'm gonna go right back to the same thing. It's like it doesn't matter what we seen in camp. It don't matter who signed who. It's gonna come down to what you do on the field. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter the moves you made.
Absolutely.
All of that stuff. That's all irrelevant, man. It's all coming down to what you do on the field. So.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, when the guys step
we
between those lines,
we should be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, for sure. But that was just my couple cents for the evening. I just was tapping in with you. It's appreciate the.
All right, man. We had a pretty good turnout, man.
Tapping in.
Yeah, make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you share this channel because now I got a goal. The goal is I gotta get to 10,000 subscribers by July. Hopefully by July 12th, that's my birthday. But by the end of July, that is my goal to get to 10,000 subscribers. So that'll be a constant reminder for the foreseeable future. So we'll see. We'll see if we can make it. So, but I appreciate you guys getting on the chat, man. So I think I'm gonna go get something to eat. And is there any more games? This is all men's stuff. I want to watch the women's tournament, but ain't time for basketball yet. So, but all right, Chris, man, I appreciate you jumping on, bro.
But yes, sir. All
All
right.
right,
Always
man.
appreciate you, Coach. Talk.
Talk to you. I'll be back tomorrow as usual, 9 o'clock Thursday. So don't forget. Oh no, I don't want that. So all right, Chris, I'll holler at you, man. So yeah, we've been rocking and rolling for almost hour 40 minutes. So I'm gonna get out of here, get something to eat, give me a snack, and get ready for the morrow. So I appreciate you guys. Let me remind you again: memberships are coming. Memberships are coming. Memberships are coming. I'm working on that. Working on my graphics package. Got a lot of stuff, a lot of irons in the fire right now. So do me a favor. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that thumbs up. Please, please, please share the podcast with somebody. Send them a link. So I gotta have 24 subscribers per day. That's how I broke it down. So basically, that's about 150 for 175 for the week. So if you just go like 25 by times 7. So yeah, 175 for the week. So I'm trying to do like 25 a day. So spread the word, give it to your friends, tell them to listen. Don't be scared to jump in the chat. And we're gonna keep this thing growing, man. So appreciate you guys for jumping with me. Tiffany, Pat Ryan, Afrado, Chris 3K, Alex, Bam Man 100, Cody K as usual. Can't get right, can't get right. I like that. If you know, you know. Who else? Did I miss anybody? Yeah, I said Tiffany Dark Chocolate. Yeah, we had a good crew tonight, man. Don Vaughn, I'm sorry. Ian Blackwell Sr., appreciate you. KGK0911. Appreciate you, bro. But I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Good conversation tonight, especially why does it seem like the days that I don't prepare? I didn't have a thumbnail, I didn't have none of that stuff up. I just clicked play and you guys came and found me. So I appreciate that, man. I'm gonna have to do that more often, man. But I will see you guys tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Will be my normal show. And we're gonna keep this thing going, man. Y'all have a good night. Y'all be safe. Appreciate you. I love you. God loves you. And we're gonna keep doing this thing on the next one. All right. Have a good night. Go Birds.